Can everybody hear me? I hope so. So yes, I got to perform this at Dixon Place, and it was almost the full length version, a little over an hour. So we're going to try to trim that down. But I have to kind of just give you a quick lead in to how this all happened. And so basically, I had very old world Orthodox Jewish parents who really should have been my grandparents, honestly. And my mother was like a Jewish mama on acid. I mean, really over the top. So from the moment I could speak and the moment my brother and my sister could speak, not that they speak that well, but from the moment we could, she drummed this prayer into us every night. I mean, there was no going to sleep without it. I pledge allegiance to the Torah and to the Jewish people. I promise to live a good Jewish life and marry a nice Jewish boy. Well, in Mendel's case, girl. Except honestly, I think he would have been better off with a boy. I mean, that's just what I think. In any case, every night I would go to sleep and try to conjure up what my future Jewish husband would look like. And no matter how hard I tried, I mean, night after night after night, I would bury my face in the pillow and try to imagine what my husband would look like. I could not conjure him up. And then one night I was there suffocating, trying to drum up future hubby. And the image of Wonder Woman from one of my tattered comic books came to me. Now, I knew there was something wrong with this, but no matter how hard I tried, from that point on for my entire childhood, Wonder Woman was my future Jewish husband. So being secretly married to Wonder Woman, well, it didn't really help my relationship with my over the top old world Jewish parents, trust me, especially my mother. And so I started to rebel. And by the time I got to high school, I didn't look like a nice Jewish girl, like certainly not the one my mother wanted me to be. I looked like sort of like the bastard child of Joan Jett and Janis Joplin. I mean, I was like a bat out of hell. So I proceeded to party and have a good old time. And naturally, the second I graduated high school, which I did a year early, that's a whole other story. I was 16 and I ran away from home. And I moved into a sleazy little motel in Long Branch, New Jersey, that was full of hookers and dealers and truckers and everybody but teenage girls. And I proceeded to have an awesome party. And for some reason, I decided to invite over my teenage friends from high school and a whole bunch of sailors because, there were sailors in town, and why not invite them over? I mean, my father was a sailor, right? It was sort of supporting my family in a weird kind of way. Not. Anyway, I guess the motel manager, he didn't mind the hookers and the drug dealers, and he didn't mind, the prostitutes turning tricks right in the hallway. But the sailors and the teenagers freaked him out. So he called the cops. And the next thing you know, the cops picked us up and we got arrested, and they called my parents. And my parents plopped me in the back of their Volare and started to drive. After a while, everything changed. I mean, all the greenery of New Jersey. I mean, I grew up on the Jersey Shore. It disappeared. And hours later, everything turned brown, brown brick, brown dirt. And if we did see any sort of nature, it was dead. And my father pulled up to this townhouse and had me follow him. And the person who answered the door was a Hasidic rabbi with a long red beard. Now, well, of course, I dubbed Redbeard immediately. So the deal was that I had to stay in that neighborhood. My parents had read in this Jewish newspaper about this Hasidic rabbi who specialized in taking in wayward Jewish girls and turning them around, well, to his way of life, which certainly wasn't my cup of tea. But the problem was that if I left the neighborhood, he told me my parents had instructed him to call the police and have me sent to reform school. Now, I'd seen this movie with Linda Blair where she got sent to reform school and she got raped with a broomstick. So I didn't want to have a Linda Blair situation. I figured, all right, I'll stay here with the Hasids and go through the motions, and I'll plan my strategy of how to get the hell out of here as soon as I can. So the Hasids insisted that I dress sniut. To be sniut, that means modest. I had to cover up my collarbone, and my elbows with a long sleeve shirt that went up this high. I had to wear a maxi skirt or a dress that covered my knees. I mean, I didn't own anything like that. So it was kind of depressing, but I figured out a way to put on the long sleeve shirt and wear my Blondie t-shirt over it and put on the maxi skirt, gross, over my spandex leopard pants. And, that's how I sort of survived, and they considered it sneaky enough. Eventually, I was able to move into my own apartment in Crown Heights in the Hasidic enclave with another Balchuva girl. And Balchuva are the sinners, the Jewish sinners of the outside world who have come back to the loving arms of Hasidism. And she'd come back voluntarily. I think she was mental. I mean, she was living in France and decided to move to Crown Heights. Little side note here. I don't think my parents had read a newspaper in 1981, where they would have known that Crown Heights, Brooklyn in 1981 was probably the single worst place to send your little teenage daughter. I mean, that was one dangerous neighborhood. But there I was. So my French Balchuva roommate was away visiting her cousin in Borough Park for the weekend. And of course, I ran to the payphone dialing for all my Jersey friends who might come visit me. And there was only one friend brave enough to come, and that was Magdalena. Now, Magdalena was a wild character from my youth. I met her in community theater. She was close to 6 feet tall, still is, she's still around, and closer to 7 feet tall in heels. And she was a big Amazonian wild woman. I sort of thought of her as a cross between Bette Midler and an over-the-top wild and fabulous drag queen. I mean, she was amazing, and she still is. And so my mother had come home one day and found Mag sitting on a picnic table in our backyard, smoking a Moore cigarette out of a long pink cigarette holder. And she was wearing a red vinyl catsuit. My mother lost her mind. I leave you alone for 5 seconds and you've got the Gestapo in the backyard. That was the end of theater for me, well, at least then. Not now, of course. I think my mother decided every rotten thing I did in high school was because of the evil influence of this creature, Magdalena. And so naturally, I called Mag. And Mag was the only one brave enough to come. Now, I heard her before I saw her. Rosalinda, I'm here. Start the party. I opened up the window of my apartment and I took in an amazing sight. Hasids were diving into the street with their long beards and payas waving in the breeze to get away from the demonic, satanic, freaked out sight that they were seeing, which was Magdalena plowing down Kingston Avenue in a pink fuchsia-ish kind of miniskirt and pink leather go-go boots. I mean, over the top, 7 feet tall and screaming, Rosalinda, I'm here. It was fabulous. So Magdalena knocked on the door and I opened the door and we grabbed each other's hands and danced up the stairs. I put on the B-52s on my Radio Shack stereo that I'd got for $50. And we danced. Everybody goes to parties. They dance this mess around. Yeah. Anyway, it was fantastic. I made a lasagna with cottage cheese instead of ricotta and ragu tomato sauce. Yeah, I know. Sue me. I like it that way. And we sat on my couch and we dove into the lasagna and we had giant beers out of giant oil cans. I'd never seen a beer that big. And we got good and toasted. Oh my God, it was like for one night I was a teenager again, not this sneut monster Hasidic thing I didn't want to be. And Mag looked at me adoringly and she got a wet look in her eyes. I couldn't even remember the last time anyone looked at me like that. And she leaned in and kissed me on the lips. Now, I'd never thought about her that way, but you know what? It felt really nice. So I kissed her back, and she took my hands and led me into the bedroom. And I'm not going to tell you what happened after that, but it was very sweet and very nice, and it was really, really lovely. So I know you're bummed out. You wanted the details. Too bad. Buy the book. So in the morning, I made thick black Bustelo coffee, and we sat on the couch and tore apart an Italian bread and dunked it in the coffee. It was fantastic. And Mag dunked it in and a big chunk fell down her cleavage. She was wearing a lace lingerie nightie. I mean, how can this wild, freaky Amazon smell like roses and be wearing this frilly lace nightie? It was just crazy and adorable. So we're laughing and having a great time. And all of a sudden I hear a knocking on the door. Timing is terrible, right? So I run to the window. Oh my God. For the first time ever, it's my parents popping a surprise visit. Mag, get dressed. It's my parents. Rosalinda, your mother hates me. Yes, she does, Mag. Hurry, hurry. And I took as much time as I could, and I slowly went down the stairs. I opened the door. Mom, you're supposed to let me know when you're coming. And how am I supposed to do that? You don't have a phone. You could send me a letter or leave me a message at the Puerto Rican deli. A mother doesn't need an appointment to see her daughter. She pushed past me and hobbled up the stairs, all 300 pounds of her. When she got to the top of the stairs, she saw Mag zipping up her go-go boot, and Mom froze. She looked like she was possessed by Satan, actually. She got this look on her face, like the Ice Queen or something. Didn't say a word. Mag tried to soften things. Oh, hello, Mrs. Ross. How are you? How are you doing? Oh, you're looking wonderful. Mom wasn't buying it. She glared at Mag and then walked into the kitchen with one bag with an Entenmann's cake in it, leaving Dad at the base of the stairs to haul in 30-something bags of groceries. She put the Entenmann's cake on the kitchen table, and she found a little steak knife in the sink and proceeded to saw away at the frozen Entenmann's cake. Now, to this day, I've always wondered, was that some sort of a blunted suicide attempt? Because Mom was a diabetic, so if she'd eaten that Entenmann's cake, I mean, who knows what would have happened. But there she was sawing away at the semi-frozen Entenmann's cake. And all of a sudden, in mid-saw, she got this eerie look on her face and screamed, I'll kill you, Magdalena! Magdalena took for the stairs. Rosalinda, your mother seems to have gone nuts. Love you, mean it. And she raced down the stairs. My mother came out of the kitchen waving the knife. Stay away from my Shayna Madela. I'll kill you, Magdalena. She went after Mag down the stairs. I opened the window and I stuck my head out the window to take in an impossible sight of my Magdalena, like must have aced it, 60 miles an hour. She was already on Eastern Parkway by the time my mother got out of my apartment. And my mother's waddling after her. Stay away from my daughter. Now, I'd been trying to keep something of a low profile in the neighborhood. That sort of ruined it for me. The Rossis were losing their mind. I mean, they didn't know what to make of Mag, but my mother waddling after her with the steak knife, and that was pretty much it for any low profile I ever might have had for a second in the hood. My father came in totally oblivious with the last of the grocery bags, dropped them on the kitchen floor, and pulled an apple out of the top of one of the bags. And then he ate it, core and all, in 3 bites. That's why we called him 3-Bite Marty, by the way. But that's another story. After a while, my mother came back with the knife, thank God, with no blood on it. I walked in the house and said, would you like another bite? Of what, Mom? Of my heart. Mom, you're so far past Meshuggah that's not even funny. What were you going to do, murder my friend? My mother grabbed her pack of Wendy's coupons that she'd planned on giving me, even though I told her there's not a single Wendy's in Crown Heights, and told my father, Marty, we're not wanted here, and stormed out of the apartment. My father followed her, still chewing. After they left, I surveyed the damage. I looked at the massacred Entenmann's cake. I mean, it was some kind of a crazy scene, like a pastry chef serial killer scene or something. I don't know, except Entenmann's, ugh. I took a little piece and put it in my mouth, and actually it had gone stale, like maybe a year ago, like most of the things Mom gave me. I tried to clean up around the house, and I looked down. Mag had left her nightie in her rush. It smelled like roses. Everybody goes to parties. They dance this mess around. I don't know. I wonder if Wonder Woman wore lace nighties when she went to sleep at night.